we're now joined by the CEO of Informa, Stephen Carter. Stephen, good morning to you.
Great
You
to
must
be
be feeling pretty well, being able to raise the guidance. How are you feeling about the numbers?
Look, we feel good about the numbers. We've had a good start to 25. I think we've, on all four of what you might say are our key measures, revenues, profits, cash, and the dividend, we've seen really strong growth. And both of our categories are doing well. We're basically a two-sided business, live events, specialist knowledge, and both are doing well.
Can we talk about the live events? And I wonder how much visibility you've got on this front. People still want to meet, and that was very much apparent in the aftermath of the COVID pandemic. People really need that face-to-face interaction. That said, there's so much uncertainty in the world right now. Do you have any visibility on that front?
Look, one of the great things about that business is you get a lot more forward visibility than you might think. At a mechanical level, there's a rebooking mechanism, so we can see forward certainly 50 to 60% of our revenues on an annual basis. And sitting here halfway through the year, we can see towards the end of the year nearly 70, 80% plus of our revenue. So we actually have good visibility. And you're 100% right. I mean, during COVID, live events wasn't a great business to be in during COVID, but so there was a kind of existential debate, would it ever come back? And one of the things that's definitely happened is the power of live has gone up as the world digitizes, works from home, works remotely, distance traveling. And if you have the right brands and the right markets and the right locations, it's a good place to be.
But in times of trouble, isn't that where companies would potentially be cutting first when it comes to sending their staff to these kind of trade events, including the travel that's associated with it? Are you not seeing any of that?
We're not. But I think, it's a fair comment. People are, in our business, the same is true. I'm sure it's true for many. You're looking for value. So it speaks to, what's the quality of your product? What's the value you're offering? Are you in the right markets, both geographically and sectorally? And we now have a very spread portfolio. I mean, you described us as a British firm. We're listed here, but actually we do less than 4% of our revenues here. Most of our business is spread in all the major industrial locations in the world.
Stephen, I had the pleasure of going to Super Return in Berlin a couple of months ago.
Did you enjoy?
It was an amazing event, and I say that because it was heaving with people. There was so much energy, so much buzz, and so many participants there were remarking about how well you monetize the event. At every corner of the event, you seemed to capitalize on what people were doing there and created a way to monetize it. Is that what you're doing throughout your live events, category, finding more and more ways to monetize, and how is that affecting the profitability of each individual event?
Well, I'm glad you were there. Super Return is one of our great brands, and the team who run that business have done a really spectacular job over a decade and more of diversifying that business, expanding it, offering more services, creating more value. The key measure that we look at the end of every one of our is what's the net promoter score, what's the ranking, what's the feedback. And actually after Super Return in Berlin this year, I would say it was extremely high.
I think you might need to find a bigger venue though.
Well, up to a point, because location and calendar slot really matters. And for different communities and different industries, you've really got to be alive to where their preference is. But to your commercial point, what we're trying to do is add more services into the offer, beyond the simple meet, beyond the simple content, beyond the simple registration, beyond the simple report back. And the more you can do that, then that does, as you say, allow you to create more revenue opportunities for our business.
It was certainly on display there. Let me ask you about TechTarget. This is the deal you completed in December for the U.S. tech website publisher. I believe you said in June that you were beginning to see momentum improve heading into Q2. How's the business doing now? How are you doing in terms of extracting those cost synergies, and how's the integration going overall?
Well, look, it's year one for us. It's a combination. We bought a business and then we combined it with two, arguably three, individual businesses that we own that were all servicing the enterprise technology end market. So, we've described this as the foundation year. On your cost synergy point, it's going well. We'll be ahead on the cost synergy recovery. Revenues are more subdued than we'd like them to be. Some of that is end market. Some of that, I think, is kind of what happens when you put businesses together. Current trading, they'll be doing their Q2 filing because it's listed in the US on the middle of August. But we feel that we can see forward pacing, back to your visibility point, improving. We think things will level out and start to uptake towards the end of the year. So I'm pretty confident we'll go into 26 with a thing that feels like a single unitary business rather than an assembly of parts. And the end market, enterprise technology, service differentiation, product support, product marketing, that's a good end market to be servicing. So we feel good about the sector.
Let me take you to festivals. What does the opportunity look like for Informa festivals, this stream?
Well, look, you were at Super Return. One of the things I've observed over the last 10, 15 years is that kind of regardless of the industry you're in, private capital, to take your Super Return example, attendees, businesses, categories, exhibitors, they want a richer experience, they want a broader experience, they want a more distinctive experience. So the festivalization, if you like, of B2B events, that is a trend line that's going at different speeds for different industries, but it's where the industry is going. That's part of why we set up a business dedicated to festivalization. It's more advanced for some categories, media, entertainment, technology, but you see it across many industries that we serve, aviation, construction, pharmaceutical, healthcare. I think it's the future of that business.
Stephen, let me take you into a slightly different direction here, because obviously you're listed here in the UK. Your biggest market, though, is the US. You've got huge international exposure. Begs a couple questions. Why would you still want to be listed here, given the constraints on liquidity, on valuation? And my second question would be, is this a country, is this a business environment that is well run by one of your peers?
Look, we're listed here. I mean, we're listed here for, in part for reasons of history. That's where the company started. But actually, it served the company well. The UK has many, many advantages. I mean, geographical advantages. It's very well located. Time zone advantages. If you're running an international business, it's a very good place to do that from. Talent advantages for the businesses we serve, live and specialist knowledge. So recruiting here. International exchanges have become more competitive, but for now the UK market serves us well. As for the UK economy, that's for others to comment. It's not the biggest market for us, so we're not so exposed to the ups and downs of the UK. But you know, the economy feels more stable, and you know, let's see what happens over the next 2 to 3 years.
I did ask you, though, about the political environment and what the assessment is of whether they're doing enough, whether the Labour leadership is doing enough to make sure that this is a great place to do business.
Look, I mean, look, one of the privileges of my job is I spend a lot of time traveling around the world. I get to see different countries, different administrations, different approaches. You know, as you know, because you report on this every single day, it's a competitive world out there, and different countries are keen to encourage investment, attract capital, and I think the government has a very developed sense of that, and you know, power to their elbow.
All right, a diplomatic answer, I'd say, from Stephen Carter, the CEO of Informa. Thank you so much for that.